Hey everyone, the third point of view is no more. It's now going to be called For the Minions. It will still be a weekly update on post-Paragon MOBAs. However, I'll be joined by Arrg the Pirate and Mandy Mal. We have some technical things to work out. Most notably, my audio is hot fucking garbage. It thankfully improves as the video progresses, but it's annoying as shit at the start. Hope you can get past the intro because the rest of the show is quite interesting. What's up everybody, I am Mongoose, you are awesome, and welcome to For the Minions, where we're going to be talking about all of the we're going to be talking about all of the post-Paragon MOBA currently in production from a variety of developers. Joining me today, and hopefully, as always, are my two co-hosts, the first of which is Arrg the Pirate.
What's up, everybody? Oh, I'm supposed to talk about myself again since that last one went out.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes, indeed.
What's up, everybody? Arrg the Pirate here, and today we're going to do For the Minions. Now, if y'all don't know me, I was a Paragon YouTuber. I started just before V42 came out, maybe a month or two before. But before that, I started playing. Back in the day, you know, I was on a high-level team, and, you know, I even played in a couple of PCLs. Never won one, though. But then, you know, I stepped down from my team after Monolith came out and became a filthy casual and started making filthy casual videos. So, you know, hey, I've had a lot of fun with Paragon. I recently switched to Smite, but it never really satisfied that itch of Paragon, and I'm glad to be back. And looking at all these, you know, Paragon-inspired games, and even some that are just, you know, might be good to play and just a lot of fun. Really looking forward to all this. And man, this is just such a cool deal with, you know, me, Mongoose, and of course, Mandy Mal. So, I guess, say what's up, Mandy.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mandy. I like long walks on the beach. And is that not what we're doing here?
That's not what we're doing here.
So I was actually very new to Paragon. I only got to play for about a year before they shut down the servers, but I was just so in love with the game. And so when I heard there was all these kind of post-Paragon projects, say that 3 times fast, that was amazing to me. I just kind of started following them, started making YouTube videos about them, and these two wonderful gentlemen found me, and here we all are.
Like a stray cat.
Like a stray cat, yeah, and now you can't get me to go away. You were nice to me, and now I won't go away.
So as part of the video today, we're going to go over some news and updates for all the companies. And then I did an interview. I sat down and had an interview with RGSACE from Maeda Studios' predecessor. Maeda Studios, of course, creating another sort of Paragon-esque, using the assets from the Unreal Engine that Epic released. And I sat down and had an interview with him. Then we're going to discuss in-game economy, just kind of our thoughts on like card systems and item shops and that sort of thing. And then that'll be it. So let's get into the news and updates. The biggest news, by far the biggest news this week, was, of course, Maeda Buff releasing their proof of concept videos, a whole series of videos. They haven't released all of them yet. They have released 3 so far at the time of this recording. So let's talk about that. Pyro, what do you think about the proof of concept?
So I absolutely love the proof of concepts that we've gotten from Maeda Buff so far. This last one was really jungle focused. You know, we talked about the Ember collectors. I've been calling them Amber all week, but it's Ember collectors. We got to see really kind of a few areas of the map that we didn't get to see before. We got to really talk about the Remnants, which are kind of the new Fangtooth, and then Prime. And I know you like Prime Dunking's back, baby. Yeah, Prime Dunk, you know, and the way they're handling Prime is just so cool. But really, you know, I think it's been a good, it's been a great update. You know, they were kind of vague on a handful of things that I would really like to dive into a little bit more. But, you know, I think they're definitely making a lot of progress that, you know, just, what, a week ago, we didn't even know they even had a game. So they've really kind of shown things that, you know, just we haven't seen yet. And it looks good. I'm impressed so far.
Now, I'm kind of curious, Mandy, as somebody that actually didn't play Legacy, and with Maeda Buff and Core being very Legacy focused, what have you thought about these updates?
I'm excited because I didn't get to play Legacy, but that's, I mean, I've always heard so many people say, you know, they miss Legacy. So I'm excited to get to experience that. It sounds like it's going to be quite different from the Paragon I played from Monolith, but I'm excited. I'm excited to experience orb dunking because I never got to experience that, and that's all I hear is like orb dunking. So that I'm really looking forward to.
It's got a lot of people hyped. A lot of people hyped over that.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I would love to talk about is the mini game. Can we talk about the mini game for a second here? Like,
that's fucking Maeda buffs Diablo right there. That's their Diablo Immortal. Nobody liked that shit.
Absolutely, yeah.
So in my original breakdown, I seriously, I thought it was going to be like, you know, because I'm gonna assume you can collect it like every 2 minutes or something. You know, kind of like the Amber Link was, or maybe it just has like, once you start it, it's got, you know, 2 minutes till it fills up, and then you get the full thing. I missed one small little thing where he says on the face of the, you know, deal. I thought it was really going to be like floating orbs all around the map, and you're like, oh, there's one, and you get, you know, 20 gold for picking it up or whatever. And so, you know, yeah, in my breakdown video, I was just 100 miles away from it, and how do you feel, Mongoose, about having a mini game to get more farm in a MOBA?
Oh, I think it's an amazingly great idea. There is nothing, I mean, as the jungler, there's hardly anything for you to do ever, right? Like, the jungler is very much not a dynamic position. I have all the time in the world to play fucking Dance Dance Revolution while the rest of the team's getting their shit pushed in, and I should be goddamn killing minions and trying to get my experience and my gold up. I do not like it. I don't like it at all. I think it was a stupid idea. I mean, one thing I had to kind of keep quoting myself as a mantra throughout, particularly the jungle proof of concept, was that it's all just testing. It's all just testing. I had to keep reminding myself of that. They're testing all of these different types of crazy minions in the jungle, but that doesn't mean they're going to use all of these crazy minions in the jungle. I think after the backlash over the fucking whack-a-mole game that you got to play with the harvesters, they're definitely not going to put that in. I think the community has made their voices loud and clear over that one.
I think so too. You know, oh, go ahead, Maedy.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's one thing that they did point out in the very first proof of concept video, that they will be listening to the community. So that's, you know, encouraging. I don't think we have to worry about, as long as it's a reasonable request. You know, we're not asking for the moon.
Right.
I think they're really gonna listen.
And I think it's easy to forget that this is a proof of concept. This is
true.
A pre-alpha. You know, I mean, we're a long ways away from having anything, you know, really stable or anything like that. And I think we will. You know, again, they're testing 15 different types of minions. Of course, that's not going to happen. You know, with them having, you know, and I guess that's another thing I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit, was the random spawns of the jungle camps. Maybe y'all have a little bit more insight into that. But from the video I saw, you know, he says we're going to have we're going to have 4 camps randomly spawn. You know, 1 physical, 1 electrical or energy, and 2 neutral. But there's 6 spawn locations on each side of the map. On top of, there's also the 2 buffs. So there's really, you know, on each quarter of the map, there are 4 places that these minions can spawn in. So that gives us 16 total. But with there only being 4 spawns in every 2 minutes, that's, you know, that's only half of the locations are going to be occupied at the same time. And I don't know, that seems odd to me. That just seems odd. Of course, I haven't played all the other MOBAs out there, and Core is trying to be unique and break a mold, but it does definitely strike me as odd that we're not going to have a full minion camp, and it's going to be more focused on stacking those camps in hopes of them spawning in different locations. I don't know, that adds up. What do y'all think about random spawn jungle camps?
Mandy, go for it.
The whole jungle video, proof of concept video, was very confusing for me, and I don't know if that's just because I never played jungle. There were very specific roles that I played in Paragon. I think it's a combination of never having really played jungle and then not having any other really MOBA experience. So it was all very confusing to me. I unfortunately don't have a lot that I could add to that. It just seemed like a hot mess to me, but I figured they know what they're doing.
I think a good idea for us is probably after they're completely done with all of the proof of concept videos is we'll get our heads together and do something specifically on the Maeda buff updates with their proof of concept.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
For now, let's move on to the. Okay, right. Now let's move on to some of the other games. Maeda Studios and predecessors, some of the updates they implemented. They've got in-game chat functionality. And not only does it work, and not only can you talk within the game now, but it fades in and out when not in use, which is a small thing, but very important. You don't want the chat up constantly while you're trying to play.
You know, I think that's also a really big deal when, you know, let's say you're not in verbal comms with your team, and you've just got all this constant spam going up the side, so you just quit paying attention to chat, and then, you know, you're playing, you're in your lane, and then you look down and you've got a guy that said, hey, be careful, you know, someone's missing over here, and they actually typed the message, but you don't even see that because, you know, yeah, you've just got this constant spam over there. And so to have it to where it fades in and out, you know, I think that's also going to distinguish when someone types something. Like, you know, boom, you get this notification that, hey, someone typed something because you've got a chat window now. I think that might add a strategic element for the people that are, you know, solo queuing, but still, you know, actually communicating. You know, just adds a little bit more to communication because, you know, that's the name of a game, the name of the game in a MOBA.
Then also for Maeda Studios, for predecessor, Blood Mortius joined as a MOBA consultant. That's a new position he opened up over there. I don't know if you guys know who Blood Mortius is, but he's an amazing Paragon player.
Yeah, I believe Toronto Esports. I could be wrong about that, but I believe he was Toronto Esports captain, wasn't he?
I'm not sure. I just remember watching his videos and being like,
"This guy,
damn, this guy's good."
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that invisible
and then
is good.
some another thing, I kind of touched on this on my interview with Ace, but they introduced the graphic scaling option. So if your computer isn't the best, you can actually scale it down to be able to play the game at least. It won't look as good, but you'll still be able to play, which is very important to a lot of people who may have outdated PCs. Well, Maeda, you played mainly on you played on PC and PS4, right? I think you're the only one of us that played PS4.
I did. I played mostly on PC, and then I switched towards the very end to PS4. But I always preferred PC. I couldn't quite get the hang of it on the PS4 because I didn't have a lot of time to mess with it. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people that play PS4 are going to be buying computers, probably cheaper computers, just to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, so that
if they're buying cheaper computers, that yeah, exactly.
Well, you know, I started out on PC, you know, way before YouTube, and then when I started my YouTube, I was actually playing PlayStation, and you know, and then once I got a little bit more into YouTube, I went and bought like a really high dollar computer and started playing PC again. So you know, I kind of saw the range of it all, and
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I gotta say, I did kind of buy a PC to play Paragon, though. So
Wow.
I was into it, man.
Moving on to Undying with their game Ethereal, I'm going to read a quick blurb they had. This whole year, our main focus has been on listening to the responses and feedback from the community. Here at Undying Games, we have worked hard to get great people to deliver the best game and experience as possible. As you can see, we have improved by leaps and bounds. Malaya has been one of the myths that we have carried throughout this entire process. While with several versions every time learning from you, the community, we believe we have found a balance between keeping her essence and what she means for us. I hope you love it as much as we do. We will be with you next year. See you in the ether. Now, Malaya is one of the first heroes they released, kind of the graphics for. I really liked it. It was very anime style, which is kind of my thing, but they've updated her and she looks fucking amazing. I think I sent you guys a file.
I'm actually got the thing on the stream now so people can see what we're talking about. Just a little picture of her. But yeah, like because I actually did a video over her. I used the video that they had released of her running around the jungle whenever I did my Q&A with Ethereal, and she looks like a different myth. You know, like she looks completely different than she did then. You know, she looks awesome now. I didn't think she looked bad in the first place, but yeah, they definitely made her look like someone that I would want to play anyways.
Yeah, she's pretty. I like her. But we were talking a little bit before we started streaming, and I was saying that I haven't, not for any particular reason, haven't been keeping up with Ethereal quite as much as other people have. And one of the reasons that I just didn't get as excited for it is the art style. That she was the first character that I saw, and the art style didn't intrigue me, but this is beautiful. This is much more my style, so I'm excited to see more from them and see more of the heroes. So I think they're doing good work over there.
Before she looked like somebody you'd want to go over there and just pick her up and hug her. Now it's like, no, get the hell away from me. She got that bitch face going on.
She's got like giant mole hands with razor claws on them.
Right.
It's amazing.
They actually, I think the last video that Ethereal released was, they did Talos, which he looks like more of like a warrior barbarian with this big two-handed like halberd weapon. And
it looks awesome.
Yeah, they did a small little clip of him going through his kit, and then they show a section of the map that they've created. And the section, the update from the video that I did just to that little section of the map, which looks like it's their mid lane, is phenomenal. Like the improvements that they've made are just absolutely massive. So I think Ethereal is definitely one to keep an eye on.
Yep. On over to Visionary Games with Phoenix Rising. They're telling me that they have a surprising amount of talent set to join the team. So I think that's mainly artists. So they got a lot of artists set up to come over there, and there's just a different vibe from them. They seem very like they have really high spirits now, very upbeat. They said that they're actually progressing much faster than they thought they would. I don't know if you guys have been tracking Visionary the whole time, but they actually back in like June, they had like a playable proof of concept, pretty much Maeda buff style. Like they had their own heroes they designed from the ground up in the game on their map, playing and actually hitting each other with abilities. So I'm really excited to see that they're starting to come back online, because they had gone really far with this game really fast.
Right. And you know that, so back when we first started, you know, after the death of Paragon, you know, we had all these just different games that were popping up. You know, there was 20 of them. Everybody was working on a Paragon 2, right? And I was actually very, very excited for Phoenix Rising, because a small part of me is going, hey, I've beat Paragon. You know, I played that game. I beat it. You know, even though I would still be playing if it was out, I'm done with it, right? And Visionary is taking the idea of Paragon and just making it completely theirs. And I think that's absolutely awesome. I'm really, really into that idea. And, you know, we might still get that same feeling of you know, when you hit somebody with your sword, you feel like you're hitting them. You're playing Murdoch shooting up into the sky, you know, you felt like you were shooting. To get that, but have a whole new range of heroes and characters and a map design and just all kinds of different takes and uniqueness, I think that would be absolutely awesome. And I would definitely love to see them bounce back and really come out with something that is truly, you know, what just us fanboys want.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to hear that they're making a bounce back, like you said. I remember when I heard that they made the announcement that they had lost some of their development team, or, you know, it kind of, first it sounded like they lost almost everybody, then it sounded like, oh, maybe they haven't lost too many, and then it was like, oh no, they definitely lost, they took quite a hit there. So I was really I had a good feeling because they did, you know, like you said, Mongoose, they stayed positive throughout the whole thing. So I'm really rooting for them. I like an underdog, so I'm rooting for them for sure.
Sitting down with me today from Maeda Studios is a man that really needs no introduction, one of the biggest members of the Paragon Pro scene, and by far the most recognizable Paragon content creator. It's RGSACE.
Oh, thank you for having me, Mongoose. Appreciate it.
Dude, it's certainly my honor to have you here, man. I know I personally learned quite a bit from your videos, and I really enjoyed watching you and Generation Hollow and like your whole crew. It was always just entertaining.
Oh, that. Yeah, Hollow is a great content creator, good friend as well. And we actually really enjoy your content as well. So props to yourself as well.
To start off with, go ahead and tell us what you do over at Almeida.
Sure. So I'm the game designer at Almeida Studios. So it's basically my job to figure out everything to do with numbers, like tower damage. I know that's a big thing for the community. Minion health, how they scale, gold that you get from killing stuff, and like 101 other things, you know, lane placements, rotation times, jungle camps. So pretty much everything that goes into a MOBA is what I try and help the team figure out. And we've got people like Blood Mortius, who joined as a consultant to, you know, help figure all of that out, because it can become, you know, quite a big task. So we got a good team, and they help me with my job a lot.
I'm sure any studio working on these post-Paragon MOBAs would be more than happy to have you as part of their team. What was it about Almeida Studios that prompted you to join them?
So basically it was Smokey, really. So if you don't know, anyone that's listening, Smokey is our lead developer. And I watched a lot of his streams because he streams the development on Twitch. So I was quietly watching all the projects to see how they progressed and, you know, what their goals were and how far they really wanted to take it. And I saw how hard he worked and his attention to detail, and how open he was to improve everything based on, you know, others' feedback, whether it was mine or people in chat or just people in the community. And quite often, I think people get wrapped into this mentality of it's my way or the highway, especially when it's their own project. But Smokey was always open to feedback, as long as you can kind of back it up. So then I just approached the rest of the team. I spoke with them, learned, you know, what they did, what their talents were, where they thought the game could go. And then from there, it was kind of a no-brainer. And in my eyes, it was like the only project that was right for me. I don't think I would have committed to another project just for the sake of joining a project. If that makes sense, it was kind of, you know, I feel like the team you work with is super important, and you really have to get on with these people as well on sort of a personal level as well, because you spend a lot of time, you know, discussing things with them. So that was one of the probably the main thing that prompted me to join them.
Yeah, from watching the streams and hanging out in Discord, you could tell that the whole team gets along really well and has a lot of fun with the project. If you guys haven't done so, join the predecessor Discord, just hang out and have fun, if for nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, we're making this game for the community, right? So we want them to be involved as much as possible, and also influence, you know, the kind of decisions that we make. Also, whether it be, you know, we're bringing in 5 heroes, but then our 6th hero, we might bring in from community feedback. Hey, we want this hero now, or we want that hero. So you know, you can really get involved just by being in the Discord, and your voice really does have some sort of impact on the development of the game.
One thing I've noticed about Almeida is how fast community feedback is translated into demonstrated change. Do you feel that the company's relatively small size allows you to be more agile and efficient?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think small companies, typically those with less than 10, will always be more agile and efficient than larger teams. You just have to look at like any tech company, for example. The smaller teams iterate faster, they can pivot quicker if something goes wrong, and they achieve results at a more accelerated pace. You know, we can make decisions, and within 5 minutes, we have an outcome, which allows our developers to maximize their time on working on the important things. And it's really important, especially because everyone has, you know, a job and a family. But that's not to say, you know, larger teams can't succeed. But I think that we've proven for us, a small team works, and we've made a lot of progress. I'm not sure necessarily adding 2 to 3 developers would speed up our process, unless you gave us like 2 to 3 Smokies.
Yeah, I think everyone would like to have more Smokies.
Yeah, definitely.
The production of a new game allows for effective use of hindsight. What are some of the things about Paragon that you would like to change with predecessor?
Yeah, so hindsight, I feel, is one of those things where it's a blessing and a curse. So on one hand, we kind of know what went wrong with Paragon and what its flaws were. But on the other hand, if I asked you what you think went wrong with Paragon, it's probably completely different. Of course, there'll be some similarities, but there's a lot of things that you might find went wrong with Paragon that I necessarily enjoyed about Paragon. So it's super difficult, and that's why I say hindsight is kind of a curse. The fact that it is a blessing as well, though, is because it does give us a great starting point to build on. I mean, we kind of know what works, right? We all know that a 3D MOBA is something that people want, right? So that's a blessing because we're building something that we know people are at least gonna try. Whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. We know people are gonna try it, and we just deliver on the experience that we think people are gonna enjoy, and then kind of reel them in from there. And also, I feel like Paragon was trying to do too many things at once. Its selling point was that it was a 3D MOBA. It didn't necessarily need a new card system, a new leveling system, and a new jungle. It could have taken like the best elements from another MOBA and brought them into 3D. And I'm not saying it shouldn't have tried to innovate and that it should have just copied a MOBA. It definitely should have, but it kind of innovated by making huge changes on top of a foundation that wasn't really tried and tested. It's like just building a house of cards, right? But the foundation is really wobbly. Eventually you get to a point where everything just comes crashing down.
Yeah, they were trying to add things onto the game without ever fixing the base problems.
Exactly. It's like, hey, let's build this new card system and gem system, but didn't really solve anything, right? It just added more icing on a cake, so to speak, and then the cake just went pop. And so for us being a small studio, every mistake that we make is magnified, not by the community, but by the time we spend on building that certain mechanical system. So our goal is to innovate, but innovate where we can afford to. So we evaluated certain systems like deck building, for example, and are most likely going to build a traditional card shop because this works across all the other MOBAs. And we feel like the time spent trying to make a deck system work, if Paragon couldn't get it to work, is going to just be, really time consuming for us. So we'll be evaluating a lot of other systems in Paragon and picking what we feel is best for our vision with the help of our community, of course. Yeah, I think it just allows us to get a solid foundation and then build upon that rather than having a foundation where, every 6 months we have to keep changing.
One of my personal favorite features of Paragon was the replay system. Are there plans for the inclusion of a robust replay system in predecessor?
Yeah, so the Unreal Engine actually has a replay system we can use. So it's from what I've been told, it's super easy to implement. So we will have a replay system.
The golden question here, what are Almeida's plans for bringing the game to console, and do you plan to allow for crossplay?
So in the future, we definitely do plan to bring it to console, and we are planning for crossplay. I think it's important to, manage expectations here that, bringing it to console is a huge undertaking. So we are sticking to PC for the new future, but console is very much in our thoughts.
So when you are able to get it to console, you do have some plans for crossplay?
Yeah, I think crossplay, like for me, I play with a lot of my friends on PlayStation. And so it's really nice to be able to play with them regardless of, what we're playing on. So I think crossplay is something that we definitely want to have. Whether we include that as a ranked as crossplay as well, we're not too sure. I think casual will 100% aim to be crossplay, barring any technical hurdles. I think it will be crossplay. Ranked, we haven't really discussed anything about. So I think people can expect crossplay if it does come to consoles.
That seems like a good policy for crossplay. Like, allow people to at least play with their friends in the casual environment and just kind of test the waters for ranked.
Yeah, also, the PlayStation player base was a lot bigger than the PC player base. I think 75% of players played on PlayStation. So for us, going PC first makes a lot more sense because we get a large amount of data, but not too large, if that makes sense. Whereas we can refine things and we don't have to worry about the game breaking because there's so many players as you scale up. So that allows us to say, this hero is out of line, let's tone it down. And so by the time we bring everything to PlayStation, we have a good understanding of what our game is, where it's going, and we have a good foundation rather than having to fix two things across both platforms.
So pretty much just like everyone, the goal is to get it fully functional and tested on PC first and then bring it over to console.
Yeah, targeting stuff or just patching as well. I'm sure the patching process isn't as easy as just uploading a file to Dropbox, for example. So yeah, it just adds more work, right? And if you can kind of build off of, have the solid foundations, like I said, that reduces your workload in the future.
The pre-alpha is scheduled for March. How can fans best find out how to become part of that alpha?
So the best way is to join our Discord, and you can keep up to date with everything related to Predecessor there. Also, if you check out our website at omeidastudios.com, you can sign up with your email to stay up to date.
What's the best way for the community to support the ongoing success of Predecessor?
Just by joining the Discord, really, and being a part of the community. Like I said, we read all the suggestions, and Smokey streams 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, pretty much all the time. So you can catch him working on the game and offer feedback, suggestions, or just come hang and see the progress that we're making. So yeah, if you join the Discord, we announce all the streams on the Discord, and I think people will then start to get a sense of just how quickly we are progressing. Like, we started working on Arrg, I think 2 weeks ago, and I think last week we finished him to a really good level where we think he's he's not Paragon perfect, but he's like 99% there. And so people can really see from start to finish the progress that we're making, and they can also influence like stuff. They think that this ability might be a bit broken in Paragon, so we can tone it down in our game or whatever. They really have like an impact on the game.
Yeah, I remember seeing someone mention in the Discord that they were worried about the game running on an older PC, and I think it was like maybe 1 or 2 days later, Smokey already had the graphic scaling option implemented in the game. So the community's opinions definitely do not fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, that's one thing that I really like about our development team, is that community feedback is always taken on board, and as long as it's reasonable and it's something that we think people like, if one person wants it, but it's like some crazy request, it's we can't deliver on that. But if it's, hey, I would like to be able to scale the game, and that makes sense to us as well. It's like, hey, not everyone can run it on a high-end PC, so boom, we'll implement the scaling option, and 2 days later, there it is. And now you guys, so that allows you guys to also see that you definitely do have an impact on this game, and we do take your suggestions on board.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the community before we go?
I'd just like to say, thank you for your continued support. I feel like our project is a marathon, not a sprint. And, we're working on getting that near Paragon polish from day one of our alpha, so that you can all enjoy a game. You can all enjoy a version of a game that we all love. And the champ hasn't let you down so far, so why would I stop now?
There you have it, the wise words of the champ. If you're interested in Predecessor, I'll link their social media in the comments below. A special thanks to Ace for sitting down with me. He was really down to earth and fun to talk to. To me, it was kind of like meeting a celebrity and just finding out that he's just a chill dude that loved Paragon like the rest of us. I strongly suggest joining their Discord and just hanging out and having fun with those guys. It is a good group of people over there at Almeida.
I really like, I've always liked Ace. I think Ace, back in the day when he did the more guide type videos, they were great.
Yeah.
He did, and then he kind of switched over to that more entertaining style, and that who doesn't like watching the champ? So I think that it was just a very good, it's a very good step, especially with him being, at that higher level of play. I think he's going to offer quite a bit to Predecessor in the sense of getting that good quality gameplay down. Really happy to see what he has to offer and bring to the table for them.
Yeah, and I think it also speaks to the work that they're doing over there, that they attracted his notice, but not just to follow along, but to get involved. I think that really speaks volumes about the good work they're doing over there. And he obviously sees something, even though they might be a quote unquote little dog or little guy. He saw something in him that he liked, and like you were saying, he was such a big help with his videos. I don't know how many like deck builds I looked up and watched him, so I could, because I was definitely a noob at Paragon, so he was a big help to me as a noob, and that's just really, really exciting that he's joining the team over there at Almeida.
Yeah, I completely agree. So what else did you want to kind of dive into with the interview, since we're having technical difficulties?
Well, I think that's pretty good. That's pretty much, you've already got my reaction to the interview. I did the interview. I just wanted you guys' reaction to it.
Yeah,
which we just got. I think right now, we should probably just go ahead and dive into discussing in-game economy and gold systems and card shops and all that kind of thing.
Let's do that. That sounds great because yeah, the item shop, the economy, those are absolutely huge to me. And as anybody that played Paragon, back in Legacy or at the early Monolith knows that it was very, very unique with the item shop compared to most other MOBAs. And then the 3-card system, or after V42, that the item that was more of that more traditional item shop. It wasn't upgrading quite the same, but we had that gem system, which that is another very unique aspect to Paragon. So I think there's going to be with what comes out. Of course, predecessor did say they want to have a more traditional item shop. Which is really all we know about that economy so far. But yeah, I think that's huge. Just all the different types.
I have a question for you guys. As like I said, I was newer to Paragon and to MOBAs in general. It was the first MOBA I'd ever played, and I haven't really dabbled in too many since then because it just hurts too much. Okay, it's not Paragon, and but when they introduced the gems, it was confusing for me because I had already gotten used to what the economy system was before. So is that more of a traditional way to go in MOBAs, or was that unique?
No, the gems are completely unique. We're unique, especially having those the item trees or the ability tree. Well, I can't even remember what they called them anymore. Yeah. But There was agility, growth, and
right.
in like void or whatever it was.
Right.
That's not something you typically see in other MOBAs. You typically see something more along, you have this is the item you want, right? The boots of running, and they give you attack power and run power and whatever, and then they have maybe 1 or 2 different stages to get to that point. So you have to buy the junky boots that barely do anything, and then the slightly better junky boots, and then you buy, the actual boots that you wanted. So it's more of a progressive item that you buy, whereas in the 3-card system, as long as you had enough gems put in, you could put on any item you wanted. So again, yeah, it was a little bit unique, but as far as the items being more ability-based items, that's kind of how the traditional MOBA take is. Most MOBAs have more of this item has several attributes instead of just here's health and protections, or whatever. So that's a little bit more MOBA-ish, but
it's about as close as Paragon ever got to a traditional item shop.
Right,
the final one. Now, I didn't like it. However, after talking to my subs and just having like conversations about it, I do understand how to newer players that it was a simpler system. I used to make fun of it for being way too overcomplicated, but I think that was just me being an old dog, not wanting to learn new tricks. I think that I think it did simplify things, and that was better for the game than the 6-card shop. I personally prefer the 6-card shop because that's what I was kind of raised on in Paragon, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's funny that some of the new players were saying that the gems were easier because I considered myself a new player. I did not find them easier, but I mean, maybe I was established enough in the old system that to introduce it. I was a little bit of an old dog myself. I was like, I don't like it. It's new. I don't like it.
Well, and we also can't forget there are a lot of people out there that kind of like you, Maeda, that they came to the game maybe just before the new item shop came out, or the V42 came out, and so V42 is really all they know.
True.
And so I think if you go in, just the whole old dog thing. I was used to the 6 cards. That's what I liked. And when the 3-card came out, it was like, it didn't help that everything was completely broken. But
Yeah.
but it was just such a shock because you went from your starting build being either an adamant edge or a sentry ward or a the health token in a pot. You went from that to your starting build is font of experience that makes you level faster. You know,
Yeah,
or so
that's what I always
it was just such a shock as to what's actually happening with the game. So yeah, a lot of us, old fat nerds didn't know what happened. And,
it kind of leads back into what RGSACE was saying, where they didn't take time to fix their foundation before trying to build on it. They tried to introduce this whole new card shop and gym system without ever addressing the fundamental flaws with Paragon.
That's right. Yeah.
That is literally, he hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah.
You know what I want to see? Like, Ethereal has so much crazy shit going on in their game. I want to see what their item shop's going to be like.
I was wondering if we know any details about that. Like,
I know that there's going to be items. That's all I know.
Yeah, it's going to be more of a traditional shop. Ethereal. I did have a lot of conversations with them back a while back, and they are more focused on a traditional item shop. Which, when people say traditional item shops, it's basically the item shop every other MOBA has. And then the card system. Those are really the only two things. So a traditional item shop basically means not Paragon style. So,
yeah.
But yeah, Ethereal's definitely going more towards that more traditional item shop. That's just the political way of saying it.
They're just so like break the mold over there.
Oh,
I was expecting something like you find items in the woods by like smashing a chest or something.
You go up to it and it's a little Zelda cutscene where he picks the chest up.
Yes, that would be amazing.
They don't even know what the mold is. They're just pouring it directly on the floor. It's
right.
They're going to be flying. You could pick up parts of the map and that could you imagine just like being steel and pick up a tree and hit somebody with it? They've got some crazy things going on over there.
It's definitely an ambitious project, but it does seem like they are just going online with the just a pretty standard item shop, which isn't a problem. I think the only item shops I really know, or systems I should say, is the Paragon card shop, the shop that fucking everybody else goes with. Then you got kind of Heroes of the Storm, where there's no items. You just level up, and when you level up, you gain talents that affect your abilities. So that's conceivably something that they might be able to go with. However, I really don't see that being successful in any of these. That's kind of Heroes of the Storm is a baby MOBA for babies, really. I mean, I love it, but
baby ass baby mode.
It's for baby MOBA players.
Well, and there are some very unique things with Heroes of the Storm as well, like the you level up as a team, and again there's no items. The side objectives are not really side objectives; they're the main objective, and that's how you win the game.
Right, yeah.
It's
a very different MOBA, Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, which I think you could almost call it more of like an arena brawler.
I think Blizzard themselves call it a team brawler, not a MOBA, which I think is
Which I still I'm a huge Blizzard fan. I'm not crazy into the lore like I used to be, but you've got Overwatch characters and StarCraft characters, and they're all just shooting each other to death. It's a blast. It's a lot of fun. But I think there are some very cool aspects of Heroes of the Storm that could be used in other MOBAs, like the mounts. That's all you, Mongoose. You want to talk about the mounts?
I mean, it's kind of getting away from the item shop. Maybe the mounts would be something you could buy in the item shop. I don't know, but yeah, Ethereal does plan to have mounts in the game. I've only heard them talk about that a while back. I need to kind of get back with them and ask them about it, but that's something that you can do in Heroes of the Storm, is actually mount up for extra move speed, and then your mount just disappears whenever you get hit. Right. That's something they had planned to do with Ethereal, since the map is fucking massive. Yeah. You kind of need some kind of speed boost to get around.
Yeah, it is off topic though. But yeah, I think Metabuff is coming out with their last day is going to be over over the item shop. So
yeah,
what is that on Tuesday? Is that right? Tuesday, something like that. Middle of next week.
Yeah,
that's when we're going to learn about their item shop. And
yeah, I'm excited to learn what they got going on over there.
I am too. Mongoose is definitely more of the expert over predecessor than I am, so I don't really know their item shop, but
what details do we know about any of these other? I mean, with Rising or anybody?
The item shop works in predecessor. You can if you watch Smokey's stream, you can actually watch him equip cards. It's more of a traditional item shop, but using cards instead of items. But you amass a certain amount of gold and then you pay for a card and you equip it. And there's looks like there's 6 card slots if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it looks like they're going with kind of a traditional item shop.
How would a game like Paladins and the way they run, because that's, how does that kind of fit into what's going on here? Just because that is a game I play, so I can get a little bit more of an idea of how is that kind of like a traditional MOBA?
That's Paladins and Overwatch, and I think there's even a third one. Those are, I think if you remove the like control point away from them, and just you're looking at a hero shooter. I believe that's what they call it, like Battleborn. Battleborn was, I would say, much closer to what a MOBA is than Paladins or Overwatch, but of course Battleborn failed. But yeah, the Paladins does use those cards,
right?
But those are really just to upgrade your character. That's I don't think that would work in an actual MOBA, that kind of style, because again, you're buffing your, like you'll have this item that makes, your like, could you imagine an item that makes Gideon's rock do dot damage, and so that item is specific for Gideon, if you put it on Gadget, it wouldn't do anything. And that's really kind of how the item shop for Paladins is. It's more specific towards those individual heroes and has those kind of attributes. So yeah, when you talk about a traditional MOBA shop, it's really, you've got kind of 2 items. You've got your magic damage heroes and your basic damage heroes or physical damage heroes, and you've got these items that upgrade these, and you can build the same thing as me. Even though we're kind of the different heroes, like you can play Gideon and I can play Twin Blast, and we can build the exact same way if we wanted to. I see. There are a few differences, but yeah, Paladins, it's definitely a completely different genre almost. So
gotcha.
I guess really.
I don't care what item system any of these guys put in their games. I just want to get my hands on them and I want to play them.
That's it, man. I want to make sure whatever I can do to make sure at least one of them comes out. Like that's what I want. I just want one. Like, it doesn't matter.
We got a good shot.
Yeah. The more the better. I wish I was good enough to program and design and stuff like that, because I'd give it a shot.
All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for the Minions. I hope you enjoyed it. I think we're going to get better at it as we go along. There's a few technical difficulties here and there this time, but yeah, we're going to hash that out. Hopefully, we'll have a full-on stream with face cams and everything. But for now, this is Mongoose and Mandy Mal. Mandy Mal, take it away.
Thanks for watching, guys.
And Arrg the Pirate.
And we'll see y'all later.
And we'll see you next time.